name is Faith, and I am here to change the narrative that every family that relocates abroad ends up breaking up. The truth is, only families with underlying issues allow the challenges of migration to tear them apart. More people whose families are doing great should come out and speak to encourage single people that true love exists. I have been married for 21 years now. I met my husband, Kelvin, at university, where he was our class captain and extremely popular. He participated in every school activity. Unlike him, I was an introvert and cherished my personal space. One thing that I admired about Kevin was that he never allowed his popularity to interfere with his studies. We were acquaintances but not really friends. He made several attempts to ask me out in school, but I refused, as I was not ready for a relationship. Kevin graduated with the second class upper division, and I graduated with the first class. I was working as a financial investor with one of the biggest banks in Lagos. I immersed myself in my career and quickly rose to the rank of a senior financial investor. One day, I was surprised to see Kelvin directed into my office as the new manager for the Peters Group, a company that had been doing business with us for a long time. When he entered my office, I couldn't help but notice how put together he was. He was all smiles to see me too. We hugged, we chatted about everything, exchanging numbers and talking throughout the night without noticing the hours pass. He casually asked if I was married, and I teased him by asking why he was chatting with a married woman. Kevin and I continued chatting, especially on weekends, reminiscing about our university days. It reminded me of the times I played hard to get and made me realize he had never stopped loving me. That is how our relationship began. He would send flowers to my office, and during our courtship, I surprised Kevin with a birthday party. Kevin was everything a woman could ask for. After 1 year, Kevin proposed and I gladly said yes. At the beginning of our marriage, our country faced terrorist attacks, leading to widespread insecurity. Kevin and I decided to relocate to Canada for a more secure future. Meanwhile, we were trying to conceive. After we relocated, a medical checkup revealed I had submucosal uterine fibroids, making it difficult to get pregnant despite several attempts. Kelvin was always by my side. I wanted to make him a father because he always talked about wanting a big family, being an only child himself. 6 years went by as we worked so hard to settle into our new country. But those years were filled with a lot of thinking and depression. Some days I would cry myself to sleep, and Kelvin would console me, saying that he married me for companionship and that having children was an added benefit, not the main purpose of our union. I went through a series of treatments, and Kelvin never blamed me, always believing that our time would come. He never allowed anyone to disrespect me. I remember an incident where his maternal auntie called us on a video call and asked me why I had not given her nephew a child. I politely told her we were waiting on God. After the call, Kevin took the phone from me and told me to get him some water to drink. While I was in the kitchen, I overheard Kevin in a polite but firm voice, telling his aunt not to put unnecessary pressure on me, emphasizing that only God has the power to create a child. Hearing how my husband stood up for me made me fall in love with him all over again. He is a complete gentleman in every sense. One Sunday at church, some of us waited after service and were chatting about children and family. I mentioned that toddlers would never respond when you call them, except when they are sleeping, and then when you make a tiny sound, boom, they just wake up. Everyone laughed, except one mother from my home country. She asked me how I would know, considering I had no child of my own. Everyone was surprised by her question. I felt wounded inside, but I responded calmly, saying that I didn't have to have children to understand them or have an opinion about them, because I have family members and friends who have children. My friends at church told me to ignore her, which I did, as I couldn't change her attitude, but I needed to protect my mental space. I avoided people with negative energy. On my 40th birthday, I decided to stop trying for children and decided to enjoy my life to the fullest. I resigned to fate, thinking that I might be like Sarah in the Bible, but without my Isaac. I started a real estate and investment company that I had always wanted to do, with the support of my husband. I stopped taking treatments, and my husband was in full support. The treatments were too much, and they were making it difficult for me to sleep well at night. I invested my time in building my company and spoiling my husband. In 2 years, our company was already making millions in revenue, thanks to Kevin's consistent support. He would always advertise the company and services wherever he was. I spoiled him silly, bought him all the nice clothes, and we went out on dates, keeping our sex life vibrant. Kelvin made it easy to love him. It was easy to see why Kelvin was filled with so much love. Have you seen his parents? Professor Appa and Dr. Susie were the epitome of love and peace. His father, a retired professor of history, was always engaging, and his mother, an orthopedic surgeon, was a great example of class and humility. They never pressured us about having grandchildren, even though they desired one, considering that Kelvin was the only child. Kelvin invited me to his company's Christmas party, as usual. It was all fun until a new colleague, Susan, started flirting subtly with my husband. Typically, Kelvin told me about everyone in the company, so I was surprised that he never mentioned Susan. When it was time to dance, Kelvin invited me to join him on the dance floor. Susan introduced herself as the new HR personnel. I knew her game, but I pretended not to notice, and I shook hands with her professionally and gave her a fake smile. She almost threw me off balance when she asked if I was still trying for a baby. I immediately looked at Kelvin, who was dumbfounded, then replied politely, "This is a private matter, and I would like for it to remain private." Throughout the party, I was boiling inside, but I kept my cool, smiling at everyone but Kelvin. How dare he share our private matter with a stranger, especially one who would not hesitate to jump on his bed? I gave Kelvin the silent treatment on our drive home. He apologized repeatedly, trying to explain, but I was not in the mood to listen. After arriving home, I went for a warm bath without inviting him. Feeling better afterward, I was ready to talk. As I stepped out of the bathroom, Kelvin was waiting for me at the door. I smiled weakly at him. "My love, I am really sorry," he said, taking my hands and sitting me on the bed while he continued explaining. "Susan started working with us 2 weeks ago as the new HR personnel. We are not even in the same division. Last week, I saw her waiting for an Uber, and I offered to give her a ride since she was going in my direction. We got talking, and she received a call from my sister, who was trying to conceive. That is where we started that topic, and I never knew she would bring it up. I shouldn't have told her about us. I was only empathetic towards her sister." "It's okay, my love," I said. I knew there was a better explanation. "She probably has a crush on you." "Who wouldn't? You are a fine man inside and out, my chocolatey king." We chatted after resolving our issues. Guess what? I took another bath, and the rest, as they say, is history. I woke up sick on Christmas Day and couldn't get out of bed. Calvin ended up making food for us on that day. I still felt weak after taking some medications. He took me to a nearby clinic where the physician assistant did all the tests and broke the news of my pregnancy to us. We were shocked because we're not even trying anymore. But we were so happy. The hospital referred us to an obstetrician gynecologist, and we received the best care. We were even more excited when we found out that I was having triplets. God turned our weeping to joy. In June 2013, I had a cesarean operation, and Kelvin and I welcomed our beautiful babies, 2 boys and a girl. We named them Isaac, which means laughter, Ivan, meaning God is gracious, and Iris, a beautiful flower derived from the word rainbow. We were discharged after 2 months. We didn't tell anyone except our parents that we are expecting babies. When we sent pictures of our babies to family members, they were all surprised. My parents were elated, and my in-laws' joy knew no bounds. God not only blessed us with a child, but surrounded our table with children. I am forever grateful to Kelvin for being my best support system. He never gave me a reason to doubt his love. You needed to see how he took care of our babies. He doted on them and still does. My angels turned 11 last month, and they are doing well with their different interests. My company is thriving, and Kelvin was promoted to Chief Financial Officer at his company. He plans to retire next year to manage the investment arm of our company. Indeed, there is beauty all around when there is love at home, but not without challenges. Kelvin is not perfect, but he is my perfect man. Thank you for listening to my story. My Prince Charming is waiting for me in bed. Good night.